Hello friends, welcome back to CIVILDEPTH-BD. Today we will start from step number 4. That means we will start modeling of our structure. Let's go to ETABS. Go to File, Open, select the file which you want to open. Now, from here we will select all stories. At first, we will model columns. From here, select Quick Draw Columns. Select Property of Column. Here at first we are interested to provide the column size 1 feet by 20 inches. So 12 by 20 inches is okay. Our first column is at grid point A1. So click on grid point A1. But issue is here column orientation is different from the AutoCAD plan. So undo frame object. Again go to quick draw column. From here select angle degree as 90 degree. Now click on grid point A1. Now you can see here column rotation is similar as our AutoCAD plan. Second column is at grid point A2. This one. Here column size, okay, this one is 12 by 25 inches. So from the drop down menu select 12 by 25 inches. Now click on grid point A2. Then go to grid point A3. Here column size similar 12 by 25. 12 by 25. Fourth column by 20 at grid point A4. Okay, A4. So from the drop down menu select 12 by 20. Then click on grid point A4. Then go to the next grid, that means grid point B. The position of this column is at grid point B1, right? And the dimension of this column is 12 by 25. So from the drop down menu select 12 by 25, then click on grid point B1. Then next column is at grid point B2. And the section or dimension of this section is 12 by 30. Okay, 12 by 30. Then click on grid point B2. Next, go to grid point C. Here you can see this column is at grid point C3. Okay, this column is at grid point C3 and the size of this column 12 by 30. Here one question may arise in your mind that this column is not, this grid actually, this grid is not going through the center point of this column, but here we are considering that this column is at the center point. Actually this grid is going through the center point of this column. Okay, otherwise if you need to model this eccentric column, in that case you have to model link property. Okay, here we are not going to that procedure. So let's select 0 degree here, then click on C3, okay, then C4. Size of this column is 12 by 24 and the orientation 90 degree. C4 size of this column is 12 by 25 according to the CAD plan. Okay. Then go to the next grid. D2, D3, D4. Okay. D2, 3, 4. 12 by 30. 12 by 30, then 12 by 30 again, but this time orientation will be different. Input 0 degree. Now again input 90 degree angle. Size of this column will be 12 by 25. 12 by 25. Then go to next grid. E1, and the size of this column is 12 by 25. 12 by 25. Okay. Next, go to grid point F. F1, 2, 3, 4, and the sizes are 12 by 20, 12 by 20, 1 for grid point F2, section of the column 12 by 25. So from the drop down menu, select 12 by 25. Again 12 by 25, 12 by 25. Then again 12 by 20. From the drop down menu, select 12 by 20. So here we have completed modeling of column. Here this one is the plan view for story 2. Go to story 1 as we are interested to model grade beam. Okay. So from the drop down menu, select one story. Here we do not have any grade beam layout plan. Okay, here we have roof beam layout plan for ground floor and typical floor roof beam layout plan. We can generate this by our own consideration. So go to draw beam. From here I am selecting property 12 by 18. Now draw grade beam. Definitely select grid point. Never select column extension point or any other command. Always go for the grid point. And always snap by checking this. Suppose here, now this is snapping the grid point F4. Again from this point, here we have selected similar stories. We have to select actually one story or story 1. No issues, we will delete them later. Again go to draw beam. Okay. We don't need to provide any secondary beam at the grade beam level. So we are modeling this beam. column to column. Okay, we are interested to provide the grade beam layout by this way. Save the file. Now go to story 2. We don't need this beam here. We will model them again. We could keep them here, but as we have done this by mistake, so we are not considering it. We will model them again. Now for story 2. Here we have a beam layout plan. Basically that this story 2 is the ground floor roof beam layout. So follow this layout. Here I am using at first 12 by 18 inches. Maybe I made a mistake. Always select the grid point. Now check the beam layout for grid point 2. Here this beam is continued up to this point. Okay. After that, there have a beam, but it is the distance between the column and beam is 4 feet 4 inches. If we consider the center, in that case, from here 6 inches and from this beam 6 inches, that means 1 feet. That means we will offset this beam or replicate this beam up to the distance 5 feet 4 inches. Here we have clear distances of 4 feet 4 inches. As we need to know the center to center distance, in that case we are adding more 6 inches plus 6 inches, that means more 1 feet or 12 inches. So here we will take 5 feet 4 inches. Okay, at first model this beam here. At first model this. Now select the beam, go to replicate command. Here we do not have any shortcut key of the replicate command, so here right click of mouse, then select edit. Here you will get the option of replicate command. Otherwise you can go to edit, then go to edit frame, or actually here from in the edit tab you will get replicate command. Now we are interested to replicate the beam in y direction, which is 5 feet 4 inches. We need to delete original objects. Click on apply. Now go for the next grid. Here this beam is continued up to this portion. Okay. Here we also have a beam, but there have some distances. Here clear distance is 3 feet 10 inches. If we need to consider center to center distance, in that case we have to take 4 feet 10 inches. Select the beam, go to replicate command, 3 feet 10 inches, delete original object, click on apply. Okay, then here we have a beam. This one is the landing beam. So in roof level we will not model any landing beam. This one is the roof level, which is 18 feet. So we will not model any roof beam here. We will model this landing beam when we will model staircase. Okay. For X direction, we have completed modeling of beams. Now go for the Y direction. in y direction. This beam is going through grid point 1 to 4. Okay, first model this one. Now go to the second beam, that is at grid point B, going through B1 to B3, right? B1 to B3. So what will we do? B1 to B2, then B2 to B3. Okay. Next beam is going through. Okay. We will start from D3 to D2, then D2 to D1. Okay, fine. D3, D2, then D1. Okay, fine. Next. Okay, this beam will be continued up to D4. Okay, fine. So here we are going to D3 to D4. Here we also have a beam C3 to C4. Then maybe this one is from F1 to F4. Okay. So select the beam here. F2, F3, then F4. Now we can model slab here. Okay. Here all of our panels are basically two-way, most probably. Most of the panels are two-way. Okay. If L by B ratio is greater than 2, in that case we will model one-way slab, otherwise we have to model two-way slab. We can model this panel as, no, this one is also two-way. 14 feet, 8 inches plus 4 feet. That means around 19 feet. This one is 15 feet. Okay. This one is also two-way. All the panels are two-way except this cantilever portion, hopefully. So at first we will go to draw floor. Okay. From the drop down menu, select slab 6 inches two-way. Okay. By this way, we have completed modeling of slab, but we have some cantilever portions here which we will model later. At first, replicate this floor because there may have some variations in typical floor roof beam layout plan. So at first, Go to edit stories and grid system, modify / show story data, right click of mouse here, add a story, keep existing story heights. Story height here I will provide 10 feet. Number of added stories will be 1. Insert above story 2. Replicate new story from story 2. Okay. Refresh view. Okay. Now here we have modeled the next story, but there have some variations in beam layout. So, okay. Here this beam will go through this point to this point. We can delete this. We will delete these 2 panels also. Model this beam here. Then, okay. We will delete this panel also. Now check the, okay, there have a variation of 4 feet 6 inches. At first model this one. This, okay, let's delete all the slab panels. Okay. This beam we will replicate in minus x direction, which is minus 4 feet 6 inches. Delete original objects, apply. There we have a variations of around, if we take center to center distance, in that case this will be around 8 feet 9 inches, or here we have 7 feet 9 inches. From this beam we are taking 6 inches as center, and from this column we are taking again 6 inches. That means 8 feet 9 inches. Select the beam, minus 8 feet 9 inches, apply. Okay. Then, okay, this beam is okay here, but there have again variations. Okay. From this point, clear distance is 3 feet 2 inches. But if we take the center to center distance, in that case we have to consider 4 feet 2 inches. Okay. So select this 2 beam at a time, minus 4 feet 6 inches. Delete original objects, apply. Okay. Here in this part we again have a beam. Okay. We are taking here center to center distance 10 feet 11 inches. Okay, fine. So select the beam, minus 10 feet 11 inches. But this time we will not check mark delete original object. We will uncheck this command, then click on apply. So replication has been completed, but still this beam is present in our model. Okay. Then we again have a distance of 7 feet 3 inches, which is center to center distance. Select the beam, minus 7 feet 3 inches. Apply. Then we do not have any secondary beam here. Okay. We have completed modeling of beams for the typical stories. There also have a variation in slab layout. You can see. Now we can model slab here, but maybe there have some one-way panel. No, this one is also two-way. This one is also two-way. So there is no one-way panels except these cantilever portions. So select slab 6 inches two-way, then model the slab again for typical stories. Okay. Let's delete this panel, or we can reshape. We can reshape object. Drag this point up to this point. Again, select this one. Drag this point up to this point. Okay. Now again, go to draw slab 6 inches two-way. Here we have to provide this slab up to this and this joint. We can delete this slab and again model, or otherwise we can go to reshape command, then select the panel, drag this here up to this point, again select the slab panel, then drag this one. So we have completed modeling of slab panel. Now we can replicate this typical floor. Here we have already modeled. This one is from base to ground floor. That means this one is the level of ground floor, or story 1 we can say. This one is a story 2. This one is a G+4 storied building. That means we have to add 3 more stories here. Hope you can understand. This one is ground floor, first floor, second, third, fourth. That means this go to edit, then go to edit stories and grid system, modify / show story data. Right click of mouse, add a story, keep existing story height, provide 10 feet here, add number of stories will be 3, insert above story 3, replicate new story from the existing story 3. That means this will copy data from the story 3, and all the stories will be placed above the story 3. Click on OK, click on refresh view. So now we can check again. This one is ground floor, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means ground plus 4 stories. That's all for today. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.